Hi, my name is Awilda Jimenez. I'm a virtual content specialist teacher from PS386. I'm creating this student-facing video in partnership with Maria Friedland from the Division of Multilingual Learners. Our goal is to create social studies content for our multilingual learners and English language learners that can be used during remote and blended instruction. The student-facing video will be focusing on the independent work portion of the Grade 4 Unit 3 Day 13 lesson called The Battle of Golden Hill. The focus question is what events led to the war with Great Britain, and our lesson objective is to analyze images and text in order to explain the key events of a local battle in the American Revolution. Hi friends, welcome back to Social Studies. Now today we're going to continue collecting information on events that are leading up to this American Revolution. Now we learned yesterday, based on the images that we studied and on the previous day's lesson, that the colonists are already really angry with the British government over the new taxes and acts that are being imposed. So today we're going to look at what were the causes and the results of the Battle of Golden Hill. And our focus question is, what events led to the war with Great Britain? Our lesson objective for today is to analyze images and text. Today will be more text in order to explain the key events of a local battle in the American Revolution. Now, if you are using your Passport to Social Studies workbook, you're going to need page 145. If you are using Google Classroom, you can also, I've also placed the Thinking About template on the slides where you will be analyzing texts. And you can also use wordsift.org as a tool to help you break down text so that you can grow ideas and ask questions about it. Okay, so we're gonna go through the Quartering Act of 1765 together, and then you're going to read a source text on your own and jot down what you understand from the reading, what you're thinking, and what questions you have. So I'm going to go over here, and it says, the Quartering Act of 1765. Once the French and Indian War had ended, the king's advisors decided that some British troops should remain or stay in North America, the colonies, in theory to defend the colonies. Since the war had left Britain with a large national debt, it was especially important that the colonies should pay their share of the costs of keeping these men in America. The Quartering Act of 1765 required colonial governments to provide and pay for feeding and sheltering any British troops stationed in their colony. Wow, so there's a lot happening here. Let me go back and reread and pause to think about what I'm learning or understanding, what ideas I have, and what questions I have. So it says here, once the French and Indian War had ended, the king's advisors decided that some British troops should remain or stay in North America, in the colonies, in theory to defend the colonies. Let me stop here. What I read, right? So the British government is forcing soldiers to stay in the colonies. The soldiers will defend the colonies. We keep reading. Notice how I paused and I went back to my organizer and I jotted down my understandings in my own words. Now, if you need to go back and copy words because you want to make sure you're spelling them correctly, that's perfectly fine. But I encourage you to try to reread or listen to the audio as many times as you need to and jot down what you understand in your own words. Since the war had left Britain with a large national debt, it also was especially important that the colonies should pay their share of the costs of keeping these men in America. The Quartering Act of 1765 required colonial governments to provide and pay for feeding and sheltering any British troops stationed in their colony. Okay, so, wow. So, colonists had to help pay for keeping the soldiers there. So now that if you have 2 or 3 jobs, what is this making you think? British government is forcing soldiers to stay in the colonies. The soldiers will defend the colonists. Colonists had to help pay for keeping the soldiers there. I'm thinking this is going to make things worse between the colonists and the British government. The colonists are already angry. They have to pay taxes on things they need. Now they have to pay for these soldiers too. That's really unfair. Now I'm thinking, what else, right? Like, how much worse is this going to get? What else is the British government going to make the colonists do? I mean, I know that I saw pictures of protesting and fighting, but I think things might get really, really bad. I don't think they're going to be protesting like we see here, right? People marching with signs. I think it's going to get really violent because the colonists have had it, right? So notice how I read and I paid attention to some of the words that were highlighted and in green. I paused, I wrote down what I understood in my own words. I wrote down what I thought, right, based on the images we saw and the lesson from yesterday. And then I jotted down a question, okay? So I want you to try, right? I want you to continue with the Quartering Act. Now you could listen to the audio or you can highlight and copy the text. Go to wordsift.org and sift it, right? Remember, sifting helps highlight the words that we should be paying attention to. And at the bottom here, right, gives us 3 big ideas from the paragraph that we should be paying attention to. Okay, it helps us understand the content, the paragraph better. Now, once you do that, just add your ideas to the slide or jot them down on page 145. And then I'd like you to do the same thing using these slides, the Battle of Golden Hill, right? So slide 11, 12, and 13, and you can add your notes here, right? What you read, what you think about what you read, what ideas are you having, and what questions you have. You can also read it and again, just add it to your notes to page 145. When you're done, I would like you to think about the Battle of Golden Hill, the images, and all the reading that we've done today. And I'd like you to take notes on who fought in the battle, where did the battle take place, when did the battle take place, what happened, and why did it happen? What were the causes of the battle? Okay, you can choose, I'm going to give you a choice. You can jot your notes here, and then in your notebook, in your workbook on page 148, you can write what happened at the Battle of Golden Hill and why it happened, almost like a news story, right? You can give me 2 paragraphs here. Or you can go on Flipgrid, right? The link is on our Google Classroom. You can create a short and you can use the notes that you've taken here to make a quick video explaining what happened during the Battle of Golden Hill and upload it onto your Google Classroom for me to grade, right? So it's your choice. You can write the news article or the summary if you want to summarize it that way, or you can create a video using your notes. I look forward to seeing your work. Thank you.